New Jersey's governor race is shaping up as one of three key gauges on how voters feel about the first year of Trump's second presidency and whether Democrats have improved their standing ahead of the 2026 midterms. As of now, Democratic nominee Mikey Sherrill holds a narrow lead over Trump-backed Republican Jack Ciattarelli by 7 points. Now, while New Jersey traditionally leans blue in general elections, Republican governors in the Garden State aren't actually that rare. But there have been growing signs of a further shift to the right in recent years. In 2021, for example, sitting Democratic Governor Phil Murphy won re-election narrowly against Ciattarelli by just over 3 points. For comparison's sake, Murphy won the state in 2017 by 14 points. And in 2024, Kamala Harris carried New Jersey by only 6 points. That was the narrowest presidential win for a Democrat in the state since 1992. So will this right-leaning trend continue Tuesday, or will Democrats' hopes of this race being a referendum on Trump pay off? Joining us now to discuss, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, the Democratic nominee in the New Jersey governor's race, and Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey. Thank you both for joining us. I know you have a busy day. Congresswoman.
Thanks so much for having us.
Congresswoman, Democrats have lost ground in your state in recent elections. What is your closing message for, let's say, Biden-Trump voters or Murphy-Trump voters?
So my message has been what I've built over the past year after listening to thousands of New Jerseyans, and that's that I am going to be relentlessly focused on driving costs down here, both in Trenton when it comes to electricity prices and declaring a state of emergency on day one, housing prices, healthcare prices. And I'm going to fight all of the attacks coming from Washington, which we've seen from the tariffs and the One Big Beautiful Bill and then the threats to freeze the Gateway Tunnel project. So at every turn, my opponent is going right along with Trump raising prices. I'm focused on driving families' costs down.
Senator, let me pick up on that point that we just heard there about the kind of closing message. You performed much better than the former Vice President Kamala Harris did in the state. You actually won your Senate race by nearly 10 points. What is your advice to the Congresswoman ahead of Tuesday's vote in terms of how to get it across the finish line?
Well, Congresswoman Sherrill is one of the best at closing a campaign. She is a general election juggernaut. But we have talked about this before, absolutely, about tackling low costs. Right now, because of Trump, because of these Republicans not extending the Affordable Care Act, health care subsidies, people in New Jersey on the marketplace are going to see a 174% increase in their costs. We right now have 880,000 New Jerseyans that are not getting food assistance because Donald Trump refuses to spend the money that he should be required to spend. So it's about this effort of, Donald Trump is not lowering your costs. He's actually making things worse with the tariffs that are out there, raising prices. He's more interested in building up his own net worth than actually focused on you. Donald Trump has made billions of dollars for his family since January 20th. How much money has your family made? And I think the answer to that is very clear in terms of who is focused on lowering cost. And right now here, it's Mikey Sherrill.
Congresswoman Sherrill, Trump's DOJ says that they're going to be sending election monitors into your state. There's concern, particularly in communities of color, communities with immigrant families in, cities like Newark. What is your team doing to prepare for the presence of DOJ officials in your state? What are you going to be looking out for? And what message do you have to people who are worried about their ability to go to the polls and what that might mean for them?
Well, we have the largest field team that's ever been run here in New Jersey. So we pulled out a significant early vote and vote by mail. We built a great blue wall as we head into Election Day. And then we will be ensuring that we get every single vote out on Election Day. Early vote just closed earlier today. So we're getting the final vote by mails in and then and then Election Day voting. And I have to tell you, this is not surprising. This is basically what President Trump has said he's going to do. Alina Habba, our U.S. attorney, has said that she's working to turn New Jersey red. And Trump is trying to cheat the election for next year by redistricting across the nation. So it's pretty clear that they really want to impact the vote here. But I have to tell you, this is not the way you do it with New Jerseyans. If anything, I think this has just really angered people across the state, and I think more people will turn out because of it.
Congresswoman, you've made affordability a central part of your closing message, and electricity costs in New Jersey have gone up 20% just over the past year. You have said you're going to freeze the cost of electricity. Could you explain, you're going to declare a state of emergency, and then how does this get paid for? Do you negotiate with the private sector utilities? What are the specifics of the plan?
Exactly. So we have seen an alphabet soup of agencies kicking the can down the road in New Jersey and then dumping the rate hikes on the ratepayers here. We've also seen Trump threaten higher utility price because of the fact that fossil fuel companies donated $250 million to his campaign. So he's canceling a lot of energy projects that we have to push a greater energy into our grid. So that's why I said enough. On day one, I'm declaring a state of emergency. I've already had the utility companies say in an open letter that they want to work with me on lowering those price hikes, as well as some of the money that comes in through the BPU from RGGI that we can use to offset some of these costs. At the same time, it's going to take a big fight to continue to get more electricity into our grid, with Trump threatening it at every turn and trying to remove some of the support that we've seen for projects like solar on landfills and on rooftop solar, more battery storage, transmission changes that we need to upgrade our grid. All of these things we're seeing Trump attack. So as governor, I'm going to continue to drive more power into New Jersey, drive down costs, and at the same time fight back against any attempts from the federal government to undermine our push for more power in New Jersey.
Senator, the shutdown has also affected the airline industry in your state, as well as air traffic controllers. Air traffic controllers, for example, received a $0 paycheck despite having to show up for work day to day, even as the government is shut down. And there were significant delays at Newark this week. As someone who sits on the Senate Transportation Committee, what is your plan to help alleviate these problems, both the paychecks that have not been received because of the shutdown, as well as the congestion and delays at one of the nation's major airports?
This is so important, and we have to make sure that our air traffic controllers and our public servants are not seen as collateral damage in this brokenness that we're seeing when the Republicans refusing to negotiate right now. We pushed forward on legislation that would pay all of our air traffic controllers, all of our public servants, many of them working right now without getting a paycheck. But what we'll say is we just continue to see a problem because whatever legislation, even if we're able to negotiate and pass it through the Senate, there's no one on the other side of the Capitol right now because Speaker Johnson refuses to convene the House of Representatives. It's been well over 40 days. I mean, I can't even imagine. When I go around New Jersey, I tell people, what would happen if you didn't show up to your job in 40 days? This is an abdication of leadership. We should be having negotiations so that we can get this legislation through, make sure that we pay our air traffic controllers, our public servants. I used to be a federal government employee. I worked through shutdowns before without getting a paycheck. I understand how hard it is. And, the last thing I'll just say is that as I've talked to federal workers, they have reminded me that the problems that they've faced didn't just start on October 1st. It started on January 20th with this administration devastating our public service, our government, firing hundreds of thousands of workers. They feel under attack this entire time, and they want to make sure that we stand up for their rights.
I have a question for both of you, but I'll begin with you, Congresswoman, which is, the other element of what we're seeing right now is there are, residents of your state who are dependent on food assistance, who are going to be going without, maybe wondering how they're going to budget, put food on the table, send their kids to school with a full belly in the next few days. And that I could imagine may impact their ability to feel their voices are heard and they're able to participate in the election. I think if you're worried about food, your electoral issues may start to kind of fall down the list. What's your message to the residents of your state who are nervous about what this lapse in benefits may mean for them, worried about where they're going to get food and support in the coming days. And, your message for this moment, the sort of immediate next few days, but also for the long term, how you're going to support families who are looking at these massive cuts from this administration that are going to impact them for months and years to come.
So, I was just at a Food Line yesterday, and voters are well aware that this administration is impacting their cost of living at every level, from food assistance to the tariffs, which are driving up cost of everything, to the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is threatening their health care. And for those that can still hold on to their health care, driving up costs so high in the marketplace that they're worried they won't be able to continue to pay those premiums. So at every level, voters here, including people on food assistance, are well aware that this administration has not only not fulfilled any of its commitments to lower prices, but in fact is raising prices at every turn. So that, too, is another reason why this election is so important here in New Jersey. I'm committed to taking care of everyone in this state. I'm committed to making sure people in our state don't go hungry. And the fact that the President of the United States, as he lines his pockets with billions of dollars, is withholding the $6 billion he should be putting towards this food aid to fulfill his commitment for the rest of the month. So New Jersey is in a lawsuit to make him do just that. I will continue that lawsuit as governor if need be. But at the same time, we're also in a state of emergency here to surge food to as many people as we can, cutting through red tape and regulations to get that food to people as quickly as possible, because we really want to take care of people as the President of the United States is seeking to harm so many vulnerable families.
Can I pick up on that point?
If I could just jump in.
Oh, please go ahead, Senator. Go ahead.
Yes, I just have to say this, which is that, I hope they're also seeing, it's not just about Donald Trump, it's about who's going to be our next governor. And I have to say, when Jack Ciattarelli says that he gives Donald Trump an A rating, I mean, really an A rating for 800,000 New Jerseyans not getting food assistance, an A rating for 174% increase in healthcare costs, an A rating for Donald Trump terminating the Gateway Tunnel project, which is vital for so many people in this New Jersey, these kind of mob boss tactics that Donald Trump is doing. So, again, it is just something where we see Jack Ciattarelli so clearly focus on himself. He's been running for governor longer than my kids have been alive. He's in it for the job. He's really willing to just bend the knee and kiss the ring of Donald Trump, and that is the last thing that we need here in New Jersey.
Congresswoman, really quickly, to pick up on that point by the senator, if Jack Ciattarelli is kissing the ring of Donald Trump, why do you think Donald Trump has not leaned in more into this particular race? It's a little bit closer than other races, but he's not campaigning for the candidate. He doesn't seem to be as vested in it as he is in other issues right now in the country, ballrooms and crypto, it seems. But why do you think he's not out there campaigning in your state?
This is, as I think Senator Kim just said, Jack Ciattarelli is a perennial candidate around here. This is the third time he's running for governor. I think the president tries to stay away from races he doesn't think are going to be winnable, and so that might be one of the reasons he's not on the ground here in New Jersey.
All right, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill and Senator Andy Kim, great to have both of you. Really appreciate it. I know you have a very busy schedule, so it means a lot to us. Thank you.